guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Tommy the Hammer. Tonight I'm hanging out with Amber and Johnny Rocket. It is Amber's pick, and what have you decided upon tonight, Amber?
I picked the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes. Yeah.
Very excited.
We like. Good movie. Excellent movie.
Great movie.
You know, Tim Curry, great actor, right? So we've seen this multiple times. Amber's only seen it.
Times.
Who knows? You guys know how we do this part. Peep the trailer. Check out that shit. We'll be right back, motherfuckers.
Let there be light. Let there be laughter. Let there be legs. Let there be lust. Let there be lips. There will be November 8th.
So we just got done watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and what a trip down memory lane for yours truly. I mean, it's been way too long since I've seen this. I can't believe I've forgotten just how much I love this film. You know, maybe part of that's just the nostalgia of watching it with my buddy Sam, you know, and the fact that we watched it so many times that, like, I'm still, even though I haven't seen this in forever, I'm singing along to every song, and I still remember almost all the words and all the lines and, like, everything you're supposed to do, like, the whole 9 yards. Like, it's all coming back to me, and it's such a wonderful treat, and I'm so glad you picked this movie, because it is truly one of my favorite movies. Not just horror or anything. Like, this is really one of my favorite movies of all time. It really is. Like, I've got such great memories of it, and it's still so good. Like, this movie still holds water. Like, this is still, it's such a wonderful, I mean, it's you know, it's meta cult. You know, before cult movies were really known as cult, you know, like this was already like meta cults, you know, it's already spoofing on, you know, those like cheesy like B horror and science fiction and off kilter movies of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Amber, what did you think seeing this again? Like, did you remember any of this?
I mean, I kind of did, but like I said, I watched it like once, and I watched it with people who like super knew it, just like you did this time. So like they were all singing along, and I was just sitting there. I remember watching it, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And everyone was like, yeah, blah, doing this and doing that, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a bit hard to follow if you're not familiar with it. I think it does take a few viewings, honestly.
Right. I mean, I like the music and stuff. The main thing I remembered was like the meatloaf scene. I don't know why.
Oh, it's so
like,
good.
The song.
It's so good.
But I feel like I converged an actual music video of his with the movie, because the movie I was like, oh, I thought this happened somewhere else. But then I was like, I remember him though, in the motorcycle. But I don't know. I enjoyed it, and it's so funny because it's weirder than I remember. Like, I don't like, I didn't remember the whole alien thing.
It was so good.
And I was like, wait, what? But I mean, it wasn't bad. I just was like, wait, that happened? I don't remember that. And then I don't know, there was a lot I didn't remember, because like I didn't remember the two main characters. Well, but the two fiance people.
Rocky Horror Picture Show, I mean, I was talking to Rocket about this a little bit before we actually started the review. The concept of cult movie, like when you hear cult movie, a lot of people, you know, they have a different interpretation of what a cult movie is. Some people would say, you know, that it's maybe a Death Wish film. Other people might say it's The Evil Dead. But, you know, when I hear cult movie, I think of that early, you know, 1980s, 1970s. I think of, you know, college life for some strange reason. I think of like the midnight movie crowd. I think of youth and people watching movies that are definitely unusual and bring something completely different to the table than, you know, most mainstream films do. Is it my favorite cult movie? Probably not, but this, when I hear cult movie, I think of this, like immediately, because it's bizarre. It's everything that you guys said it was. It's a horror movie, it's a comedy, it's a musical, it's a counterculture movement.
But if you're going for any one of those things, like, this really isn't the movie you think of at first.
No.
You know, which I don't know makes it cult, because there's just I don't know, there's a small, like, it's like a Venn diagram, right? I mean, I guess I'm in that tiny little sliver because, like, I mean, I love comedy, I love musicals and horror and sci-fi, and I love just absolute bizarre weirdness that makes no sense.
I'm not crazy about musicals, you know, overall, but I do like this one, and I do have my favorites. Is this my favorite musical? I don't know, but this is a damn good one to watch during October. On Halloween, I mean, you've got all sorts of weird shit going on, and it's a musical. You put this on at the party. If everyone's not paying attention, it doesn't matter. The music permeates the room. So for that, I gotta give it credit. And the overall notoriety of this film, I mean, this movie's notorious. Out of 10 stars, Tommy the Hammer gives the Rocky Horror Picture Show classic film a solid 8 out of 10. Amber?
Yeah, I'd give it an 8.
Ooh!
Give it an 8.
8 is great! Rocket! Your turn, dude! Lay it on us!
He's gonna give it 10.
Well, what can I say about one of my favorite movies of all time? like I said, I mean, I could technically nitpick some things. Maybe some things run long, you know, maybe, you know, some of the effects are a little corny. Maybe it's like the story itself is kind of, you know, what the hell is going on here, you know, and you look at this through like a square lens, you're like, this is so strange, like, what's going on, what are these people doing, man, oh, there's gayness, man, you know, you could, Amber's right, I'm gonna give this 10 stars.
Oh, wow!
Like, this is so, I can't help, I mean, you know, it's like I just love this movie for what it is,
yeah.
And for all of its shortcomings are completely glossed over by what this movie does as a whole.
Yeah, so Johnny Rocket is going to take a slight deep dive here at the old Rocky Horror Picture Show. What you got there, Rocket? What else you want to say about this movie?
Damn. I just want to say how much I missed my best friend Sam and wish he could be here to watch this movie with us. Because he was the one that introduced this to me and, you know, started to kind of, you know, crack my skull open, as it were, to things that were not normal and to a different side of life that I was not familiar with whatsoever, and just to recognize the fact that not everybody thinks the same, you know, and to think the values and stuff that I grew up with, you know, not everybody was beholden to those, you know, and that wasn't necessarily a bad thing, because, you know, people are who they are, you know, and just because somebody's different doesn't mean that's a bad thing, you know, and damn it, you know, there's so much more I want to say that I wish he was here because he could fill in the blanks to what I'm missing.
Dude, I think you're missing your friend, man.
And I really am, you know, and this whole, you know, pandemic situation has really got me fucked up because, you know, he should have been back in town, you know, a couple of times by now, you know, and I haven't seen him in fucking forever now, you know, and it sucks so bad, and I miss him so much, you know.
No, he's a good man, Sam. Sam's a good man, you know.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest people I've ever met. Like, you know, I'm so fortunate to have him as a friend. Like, I would not be who I am at all without his influence in my life. Like, I can't say enough good things about him. Like, I would be such a lame square without his influence. Like, I can't even believe, you know, I don't even want to think or imagine what kind of a square normie I would be without him, honestly. Like, you know, it's just, I mean, I almost we have to watch this again when he's back in town, damn it, because I have to see this with him again. Like, You know, it just, you know, this movie gave me such an appreciation for so many different things at the same time. It's like taking me this long, these 25 years, you know, I've been watching it to really like ascertain everything this movie has taught me, you know, and it has opened my eyes to. You know, like, to come back and see it again here, you know, and then to see all the nods and nuances to classic cinema, you know, like, I mean, I used to see the obvious things, you know, like the Bride of Frankenstein wig, like, yeah, okay, I get that, you know, and maybe I caught on to, you know, the whole King Kong, you know, climbing the tower and, you know, the dive bomber sound effects, you know, but it really hit home watching this again, you know. And just, I mean, I have a whole new appreciation for this movie. As much as I do love it, it's always been one of my favorites. Like, I really appreciate this one that much more, you know, and I can't wait till my kids are old enough to see this, you know, not just because of the mature subject matter, but just for them to, like, start to grasp and understand, you know, these concepts of alternative folks and lifestyles and just different ways of thinking about things, you know, and that there's another side to every coin you see, you know, and you know, that's not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, it's the same coin, you know. So, you know, it's man, yeah, I mean,
it's a powerful movie.
It really is, and I'm so, like, in this moment right now, I'm caught up in that nostalgia, in that, you know, yearning for times past, in my own innocence, you know, being shattered, you know, and then the anticipation of being able to do that to the next generation, you know, not necessarily corrupt the youth, but, like, you know, just to show them, to educate them about the reality of life and the world we live in, you know, and I'm so glad that there's weird occult cinema like this, you know, for me to show them, to be like, hey, you know, like, things aren't always what they seem, you know, and you know, feel those feelings you have and think about them and realize that they're not necessarily right or wrong, because your feelings are what you feel, and that's what's real, and it's okay, you know, but then to go beyond and to understand what you're feeling and why you're feeling those things, you know, and maybe come up with a new understanding then, you know, and just, you know, take things for face value, you know, and you know, don't necessarily jump to conclusions, you know, and always be reevaluating things. When you think you found an answer, you know, go through all the numbers again. You know, you may come up with something different again, because there's always more information to add to that. You know, there's always more to take in. You know, you can't come to a finite, concrete conclusion at any given point, because you're always going to be gathering more data. You know, and it's imperative that you then reevaluate your stances, your situations, your conclusions with that new data, you know, and realize, okay, no, that what I'm feeling, that is true, or, you know what, may I see it from a different view now. And, you know, I understand that, you know, X happens because of Y, so, you know, maybe A isn't the right answer. Actually, B is more of what is actually the truth, you know. I mean, I don't know how much sense that makes, but I mean, just never, don't set anything in concrete. Like, yes, come to a conclusion, but always write that in pencil. You know, and don't be afraid to erase it and recalculate and reevaluate yourself and what you're thinking and how you perceive things, because this world is always changing, and you need to change with it. You know, or you're going to get left behind, and you're going to become bitter and angry, and that's no way to live life. You know, we get this one shot at it. You can't just be grumpy and bitter about things. Like, you gotta go with the flow, baby. Like, you gotta be constantly reevaluating and recalculating, you know, and realizing that, you know, you're kind of along for this ride. So, you know, I mean,
it's too important not to do. Life is too important to not do.
Exactly. That. Life constantly needs reevaluation. You know, we're always moving forward. We're never static.